Good evening. On behalf of Metropolitan Community College, President Randy Schmazel, and the Board of Governors, I welcome you this evening. I am so excited for tonight, and I want to thank so many of you for your steady participation in our Black History Month programming. I am Dr. Cynthia Gooch Grayson, the Associate Vice President for Equity and Inclusion here at Metropolitan Community College. Several weeks ago, we began the college's Black History Month celebration and have since completed presentations on the Crown Act, Black history lessons on a new kind of leadership by Kevin Powell, Black Wall Street and the 1921 Tulsa Massacre. We visited the lives of Ida B. Wells, Sally Hemings, and Shirley Chisholm, and Buffalo soldiers in World War II. What a rich experience exploring American history. Thank you to so many of you who have joined for all or many of our programs. Tonight is the final official Black History Month program at MCC. And I know many of you are wondering, well, it's February 17th, why so soon? Well, our academic calendar is established on a quarter system. So as we near the end of our term, do know that at MCC, we strive to honor Black history all year round. This evening, we celebrate by focusing on talents and gifts from within our Nebraska, mostly North Omaha, our cherished community beloved. It's like a family reunion. And did I tell you I'm excited? But first, let me introduce you to our capable facilitator. Excuse me. Our moderator is known to many and is a longtime cherished friend of Metropolitan Community College. Karen Johns is a third-generation teacher, retired from the Omaha Public Schools district with a bachelor's and master's degree in elementary education. She grasped the importance of Black history in the lives of African Americans at a very young age when she wanted to do a historical report on an African American. Her teacher told her in no uncertain terms that there was nothing that colored people did worth writing a report on. Karen's mother was one of the few African American librarians in the Omaha Public Library system and responded to the teacher, indicating that they would find positive information about colored people to write a report. Karen had a grand time viewing the entire collection of books about African American history stored in the basement of the library. Fast forward, Karen is a part-time adjunct professor at the Department of Black Studies at the University of Nebraska at Omaha. She was a recipient of the Alice Buffett Outstanding Teacher Award in 1999 and a University of Nebraska at Omaha's College of Education Holly Bethel Distinguished Alumni Honoree in 2000. She is a member of New Life Presbyterian Church, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and other civic and social organizations, and a book club called Read, Sister, Read. Karen's hobbies include collecting author autographed books. Please give a warm virtual Metro welcome for Ms. Karen Johns. Karen? Unmute Karen, please.
All right, can you hear me now? Well, thank you, Dr. Goose, for that wonderful introduction. I really like that. It just warms my heart. I know that your microphones are silent, so please use the chat function to communicate with any of the hosts. And you can start sending questions to me. We will be hearing from 11 authors who all have a connection with Omaha. So we will move into the question and answer period later. I will present questions to the authors who are here with us this evening: Paul Bryant, Charlene Butts Ligon, Charlotte Duncan-Wagner, Barbara Freeman, Todd Hanson, Brandi Hollingsworth, LaTonya Jackson, Tasha Sarver, Ronnette Smith, David Washington, and DM Whitaker. Also watch the chat for links to an online evaluation and links where the authors can suggest where you can purchase their books. This evening, we will enjoy amazing music from Ananias Markey Montague, Minister of Music and Fine Arts from the Salem Baptist Church. Minister Montague was born and raised in Chicago, and he is the Minister of Music and Fine Arts for the Salem Baptist Church, and for over 10 years. Please welcome Minister Ananias Montague.
God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been to me, for God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Oh, because God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Oh, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. For I once was lost, but now I'm found. Oh, I was blind, but now I see. For God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good. He's been good. He's been good to me.
And let the church say amen. What a great way to start the evening. I'm anxious to hear from the authors, and I'm sure you are too. So let's begin with an author, Brandi Hollingsworth. By following her dreams of being a writer, she hopes to inspire someone else to follow their dreams. Brandie resides in Omaha, Nebraska with her 2 children, Aiden Strickland and Lyndon Lee. She is a dedicated 8th grade English language arts teacher. She hopes this book will teach and inspire and reinforce the importance of fixing each other's crowns for young girls everywhere.
Hi, welcome. My name is Brandi Hollingsworth, and I am the author of A Crooked Crown Day. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. And as you guys can see in the news, it is becoming an extremely important subject for us as parents, educators, community representation leaders to be aware of. I wrote A Crooked Crown Day because I want people to help children normalize having a bad day. We all have bad days. We cannot avoid a bad day. I don't think there's anyone alive who has never had a bad day. But sometimes I think our kids, our children do not understand that a bad day does not mean a bad life. And it's important for us to teach them that a bad day is a bad day. You will have them. You will have plenty of bad days, but just know that you will get through a bad day. So A Crooked Crown Day is about a little girl who has a very bad day. And it's okay because her grandmother helps her fix her invisible crown. Because we all wear this invisible crown on our head that just contains everything, our self-esteem, everything. She helps her fix it so that she can help others. So take a second, hear the story, A Crooked Crown Day. Hope you enjoy it. Lauren London Ronnette Lee always tried to let things be. She usually wore a big bright smile and was only sad once in a while. But today was a different day, as you will see. Today was the day things just wouldn't be. As she waited for the school bus out in the rain, her hair turned into an afro and other students complained. They arrived at school and she fell with a thud. Her shoe fell off and she landed in the mud. A crowd gathered around and began to laugh, and no one stood up on her behalf. The day carried on about the same. Some kids ignored her and some called her names. She went to gym class and the kids called her fat and she tried to do a cartwheel on top of the mat. She forgot her math homework on the chair at home. Then the teacher made her write in the back all alone. And try as she may and try as she might, by the time she got home, her crown tilted down to the rain. Her head was bowed, her shoulders were low, and to the ground, her crown began to go. Her grandmother caught it and placed it straight on her head. She opened her mouth, and this is what she said. Put a smile on your face and dry your eyes. Tomorrow, let's give this week another try. You have royal blood running through your veins and ancestors who walk this world with no shame. Your head is filled with knowledge and dreams that will come true, but it's up to you to make it do what it do. So fix your crown, little girl, and fly as high as you can, and let no woman, girl, or man stop you from your plan. This crown on your head, it tells your story, so you keep it straight. It contains God's glory. So just like that, the crown was set straight, and Lauren London Ronnette Lee couldn't wait. She gave her grandmother a high five and walked outside with her head held high. As Lauren London walked around her town, she spotted a girl with a low tilted crown. She smiled at the girl and she stopped to say, everybody has a crooked crown day. Here, let me fix it so you may be on your way. We all wear an invisible crown, but sometimes it gets tilted and sometimes it falls down. But I will say it's okay to help another if you may fix their crooked crown. So I hope this story inspires you to help fix crooked crowns all around, because there is someone whose crown might be tilted, might be about to fall to the ground. And it's our responsibility as people to make sure that we can help them fix their crown so that they can be on their way. And fixing the ground just might include a kind word, a hey, how you doing? Are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you? Just something to push people in the right direction and get them back on their feet.
Wow, that was a wonderful book and inspiring. I think that all elementary schools should have this book. I think Mrs. Freeman and me can really relate to this. We taught younger children, and so we know the importance of self-esteem for children, and especially little Black girls. Well, our next author is Ronnette Smith, and she's a diverse writer and inspirational speaker. She's penned poetry for individuals, editorials for corporate news journals, audiences, and messages for churches. She works to encourage and inspire through writing and work in partnership. A creative writer since her teens, and her poetic expressions have evolved from political, social, sensual to inspirational topics. Even so, all her writings have a biblical foundation. Ms. Smith's professional body of work includes national responsibilities within Walmart, AT&T. She has a master's degree in leadership and science and ethics from John Brown University, a bachelor's of arts in communication with an emphasis on public relations from Clark Atlanta University. Miss Ronnette.
Hi, my name is Ronnette Smith, and I'm the author of Autumn, the Mantle Lifted. Autumn is a poetry and prose devotional. It is for people who are thirsty, people who are believers, people who are hungry, for creatives, for people who love poetry and prose, for people that want to be inspired. They need to be inspired, but they desire to inspire others. It's not a quick sip. It's a sit-down dining experience. So you have it in your quiet time. It's a love story. It's testimonies of different times in my life. It's a determination and a plea for strong finish. Autumn represents seasons. And autumn is a harvest time. It's a time of abundance in nature and a time of maturity. The Autumn, the Mantle Lifted references Elisha, which is a prophet in the Old Testament. He wanted a double portion of the spirit he saw in his mentor, Elijah, and he asked him for that. When Elijah transitioned, the mantle fell upon Elisha. Elisha was then equipped and empowered to do what he had in his heart to do and what God had trained him to accomplish. The poems and prose in Autumn are organized in three ways: breath, spirit, and play. Breath, because according to scripture, God gave every man breath, and he blew breath of life into man. And because of that, we became alive. He takes his breath back and man goes away. We die. Spirit, because spirit, we are tripartite beings. We're body, soul, and spirit. We live inside of a body. We have a soul, mind, will, intellects, preferences, but we are spirits. The poems in spirit are about quickening our spirit, making our spirit alive, making it active, making it be able to do what God planned it to do. Recognize it. Play. The poems in play are about being a masterpiece, God's masterpiece, his workmanship. Scripture says we're created in order to do preordained works. And those works come by faith. But scripture also says faith without works is dead. So to play full out what you've been created to do, whatever you've been destined to do, what you have the desire to do, and in whatever sector, in whatever field, an artist, a poet, a writer, whatever it is, and depend on the Spirit of God to quicken you so you can play it full out. If you'd like to receive a copy, or purchase a copy of Autumn, The Mantle Lifted, and the companion journal, or any of my other writings, you may go to themantlelifted.com to order. You may also visit Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or Walmart.com. I am so excited to be here. I want to thank the metropolitan community and this book festival during Black History Month. I'm excited to be here with my colleagues, excited to talk to you about your books, your interests, your reading. Thanks for being here, and thanks for having me.
Oh, wow. Boy, just looking at Ronnette's book and the imagery gets you ready to read the message that she wants you to get from her book. Look at the imagery of that title. Our next featured author is Todd William Frederick Hunter, and he was born to Ralph C. Hunter and Cindy Petite Hunter. He graduated from Akron Buchel High School, where he lettered in football, basketball, and track. He went on to the University of Akron to run track and become a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. He became a father at a young age and flunked out of college and joined the Army National Guard, returning to the University of Akron, and he became a level 2 radiographer and an industrial X-ray lab technician for Lumen Corporation until being laid off. And then he attended Omni Technical School to become a managing cosmetologist and worked as a master hairstylist and colorist for 24 years. He also worked for Joico as a color educator. Todd started writing poetry and making music. He studied at Illinois Institute of Art, Schaumburg, and graduated with honors with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in digital filmmaking and video production. He moved back to Ohio to work on the documentary Unseen. And it's about the serial killer, Anthony Sowell. While working as a freelance photographer and video editor, hairstylist, and substitute teacher, he decided to take his love for helping others toward a degree in school counseling. He graduated with honors from Capella University and has worked as a special education math teacher, school counselor, track and field coach. Currently, he is a counselor and a girls sprint coach at Central High School, my alma mater, in Omaha. His daughter's tragic death caused him in 2018 to revisit writing and making music, resulting in a book, Who Am I? His diverse experience has shown him how relationships, negative or positive, impact the lives of children. He hopes his writings will plant the seed that helps blot out psychological damage passed on from one generation to another. I present Todd Hunter.
Hello, my name is Todd William Frederick Hunter Sr., and I'm the author of Who Am I? A Poetic Journey by William Frederick. The purpose of my book is that I want to connect everyone to what I have written to spark dialogue when it comes to Black love and Black and white issues. I want to spark dialogue when it comes to raising a gay son, empowering the Black community, and Black on Black crime. I want to spark dialogue about self-love and respect, racism and racism, and Black men going to jail. But most of all, I want to spark dialogue between Black men and Black women in order for us to forgive each other for not being whatever we needed to be for one another, so that we can heal, grow together, and to finally break the mental chains of slavery that still afflicts us to this very day. I want every single reader to leave with a sense of purpose. I want my writings to spark dialogue when they get home at night. I want the process to start with making things right with themselves and their families, and those families make things right within their communities. Then I want the surrounding communities to make peace with each other. Then on to every city and every state. And finally, the entire United States, because we are nowhere near being united. I want the United States government to make peace with all its citizens, especially with the descendants of slaves, punish racists, and make racism a capital crime. And then finally, we can actually help improve other countries' moral values as well as ours. I want to start the healing process in all of our lives, especially in the Black community. Even more, I want to leave something for my children to help kill off the weeds of life for them, their children, and generations to come. I can't bear to entertain the thought of leaving my children. So when I'm dead and gone, I pray my writings will never allow them to feel alone. But most of all, I want the world to be a little kinder to them than it has been to me. Who am I is my contribution to making that happen. And it begins when you turn the page. Thank you for your support. May God bless you. I have one section that I want to read, and it's called Be Careful Who You Choose. How can you lose by who you choose? If you lose what you choose, then what you have lost is never won. You better run. This won't be fun or amusing. It may be somewhat bruising to your ego, like someone who never gets rejected, gets disrespected, then dismissed. Now they're pissed. Stop crying over what was and start paying attention to what is. Make it your business to know and understand that relationships between women and men can go from 0 to 10 and back to 0 again. Be careful who you choose. They can sign you up for a lifetime of blues. They can take you on a bipolar roller coaster ride, then a psychological nosedive. But you don't notice because you hide behind your pride. They said they love you and you detect no lies, but they make you feel like battered feet from too tight shoes and muddy waters attempting to ignore the blues. They act like they love you, pretending like there is no one above you. And the entire time they act like they're carrying a sign marching on a picket line. They're all about you in public during prime time, but have other things and maybe someone else on their mind. You don't look, but somehow you find what's been going on behind the enemy lines. It should be a crime how they're toying with your mind. Unfaithful, uncommitted, not loyal, never been down for you, never been true. I told you they could give you the blues. You've been winning all your life, and now you're starting to lose. They say what goes around comes around. You should have paid attention to the word around town. Then you have known how your lover got down. Your friends tried to tell you they weren't down for you, but what did you do? You did it anyway. You're hard-headed and you thought you could change the way they play. You just fell for a user, this lightweight your abuser and the source of your pain. What did you gain or what did you lose? Unfortunately, you chose the pain of them playing games and your grand prize is the blues. So pay attention to the clues and next time, be careful who you choose. You can order my book at williamfrederick1965.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Todd William Frederick Hunter, or you can find me on Instagram at williamfrederick1965. Thank you for your time.
Wow, Todd, your book would serve as a very good reference tool for people who are in the mental health field. It would be a very good reference tool, and I'm going to recommend it to some of my friends who are in counseling. This is a very, very touchy subject, and it needs to be addressed, and thank you for doing that. Our next author is Charlotte Duncan-Wagner. Where are you, Charlotte? Okay. She was a volunteer in public schools in Iowa, Nebraska, and Tennessee for more than 30 years. The inspiration to create the Backpacks with Feet came after she spent time as a community greeter at Elliott Elementary School in Lincoln, Nebraska. She believes that every child deserves personal acknowledgement and affirmation. She believes reading out loud builds confidence in public speaking. And I agree with that because I think at times our children don't know how to speak anymore because I don't think public speaking and a lot of things are required as much as they used to be. There was a retired teacher from a classroom, grade 2, a literacy teacher and curriculum writer. And she pointed out that the book that Charlotte wrote can be read aloud for students from grades K through 2. As students transition from learning to read to reading to learn, this book can be used for independent reading and personal reading. It can provide examples of character traits, perspective on current events, and expanding student ideas about how to be a good citizen. It can also help build positive self-acceptance using positive statements that help to overcome self-sabotaging negative thoughts and behaviors. Without any further ado, Mrs. Charlotte Duncan-Wagner.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Duncan-Wagner. Thank you for having me. I am the author of The Backpacks with Feet. It is a book that I self-published in 2017 through the Lulu Publishing Company. I lived in Nebraska for about 20 years. During that time, I worked at State Farm in Lincoln, Nebraska, but I did a lot of volunteering between Lincoln and Omaha. I was a community greeter at Elliott Elementary School around 2009, 2010. And every Friday I greeted mostly elementary school students. Well, you know, we tell people not to talk to strangers, right? So I'm greeting little kids and they don't talk to me. So the inspiration for the books, The Backpack with Feet, came from the reactions I got from the students every Friday. For the first 3 weeks, I'd say hello, they'd turn away. I'd say good morning, they'd hold their mom's hands real close. So that made me want to write about these kids. So I'm married. I have 2 adult children, but my children are 11 years apart. And when they were young, the one thing we could do was read aloud. So this book is meant to be read aloud. So the back cover of the book reads, second grader Alex Brown waved to everyone in the sidewalk parade that passed his house going to your school on that street. Now pay attention to that phrase. This book can be personalized for the reader. So this was Elliott Elementary School on Y Street. So the child can see themselves in the book. How will Alex do his job as a greeter with Grandpa Jay at doors A, B, and C at your school on that street? Find out. The Backpacks with Feet was written to be read aloud in the classroom or at home. Experience greetings from a variety of languages that reflect the diversity of families from around the globe. This book is illustrated with pencil drawings and vibrant colors. $1 from the sale of each book will be donated to a child hunger program to eradicate food insecurity in local communities. So I'm really passionate about fighting food insecurity. When families and students are hungry, they can't learn well. They don't have a lot of hope, but reading out loud together gives them something to look forward to. It gives them something to think about. I am honored to share my book with you. You can contact me directly at akacee@aol.com. The book can be purchased through lulu.com, Amazon, and Barnes & Noble. But if you purchase from me directly, I'd be happy to autograph it personally. I look forward to you reading The Backpacks with Feet by Charlotte Duncan-Wagner.
Wow, that's a wonderful book. Go ahead, give her a big hand. I love the illustrations, and being an elementary school teacher, we looked at the illustrations, and I'm looking at Mrs. Freeman shaking her head. She knows just what I was saying. We were both smiling because when you talk about our little children, I taught kindergarten, Barbara, you taught what, first and second grade? And it just warms my heart that more books, and especially authors of color, are being written for our children. Thank you so much. Our next author is Charlotte Lagann. Where is Charlotte Lagann? Where are you? Raise your hand, Charlotte. Okay. And she was raised in Norfolk, Virginia. She served in the United States Air Force as a meteorologist and retired as the rank of Master Sergeant after serving for 20 years. After retirement, Charlotte became an entrepreneur, operating Intimate Creations, a lingerie boutique in Bellevue, Nebraska. Charlotte is the author of Fearless: How a Poor Virginia Seamstress Took on Jim Crow, Beat the Poll Tax, and Changed Her City Forever. Since 2012, Charlene has been, the chair of the Sarpy County Democratic Party. She served as secretary of Nebraska Democratic Party from 2009 to 2020. She is the current Nebraska Democratic Party National Committee woman and was a delegate to the 2012 and 2020 National Convention. Charlene is the daughter of the late Charlie H. Butts, a U.S. Army World War disabled veteran, and the late Evelyn Thomas Butts. She is married to Robert Lagann. They have 3 children and 5 grandchildren. Charlotte, let's hear what you have to say.
Thank you so much for hosting me on the 2022 celebration of Black History Month. I am Charlene Butts Ligon, the author of Fearless: How a Poor Virginia Seamstress Took on Jim Crow, Beat the Poll Tax, and Changed Her City Forever, is a biography about my mother, Evelyn Thomas Butts, who became a forceful and courageous voting rights champion and won a landmark U.S. Supreme Court case that abolished the poll tax. Evelyn Butts, who lived most of her life in Norfolk, Virginia, was a seamstress and the wife of a disabled World War II Army veteran. She grew into her roles as a relentless community and political activist while participating in a series of struggles over racial injustices. I began writing this book as a family legacy project, but soon realized that the story about my mother's battles, victories, and defeats needed to be learned by anyone interested in voting rights, civil rights, and grassroots organizing, as well be studied by young people looking to improve their communities. I feel it's important to tell my mother's story to help inspire others and instruct them about the courage and determination it takes to affect change. Poll taxes, part of a package of laws that post-Reconstruction South in the late 18 and early 1900s were aimed primarily at denying the voting rights of African Americans during the resurgence of white supremacy politics. The 24th Amendment in the US Constitution in 1964 outlawed poll taxes as a prerequisite for voting in federal elections, but did not say anything about those taxes for state and local elections. Virginia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Texas continued to levy a poll tax for state and local elections. Meanwhile, a lawsuit filed in 1963 by my mother and her attorney, Joseph A. Jordan Jr., had been making its way through the courts and was combined with a lawsuit by several Northern Virginia residents. Then on March 24, 1966, the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 that poll taxes were an unconstitutional violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, and that voter qualifications had no relation to wealth nor to paying or not paying this or any other tax. My mom did not stop there. She stepped up her efforts to help thousands of African Americans register to vote for the first time and spearheaded a variety of voter education initiatives. Throughout her many years as a community volunteer, she also fought to improve housing and neighborhood conditions for low-income people, protested employment discrimination, and campaigned for integrated public schools. When she saw an injustice, she organized to make change. She was a powerful force to be reckoned with, loved by many, feared by others. She knew the meaning of persistence and subsequently was a powerful influence. I'm hoping that this book will appeal to young readers especially. People need to participate, and I think this book can help guide them. While Norfolk, Virginia and its environs are the backdrop for the story of Evelyn Butts' life and activism, there are lessons that can apply to many communities and readers of all ages. There are always new obstacles, even in voting rights. The poll tax was an important part of American history that should not be forgotten because we have to stay vigilant about continued attempts at voter suppression, which keeps coming back in new forms. That's why we need to continue to learn to keep the message going from generation to generation. Coretta Scott King said, struggle is a never-ending process. Freedom is never really won, you earn it in every generation. Fearless is a story of courage to speak your mind and to act. We need more people to speak up and get out there working to hold the ground we've gained and to move us forward. That struggle is always going to be there for each generation. Fearless can be ordered at our website, evelyntbutts.com, and also amazon.com. Thank you so much for listening.
Oh, Evelyn, this book couldn't come at a better time. I just watched a documentary last night about African Americans wanting to register to vote and how important voting is. It's as if you just wrote the book yesterday and decided to get it out to let people know the importance of voting. So thank you for that book. And I can't wait to get my copy autographed. Thank you for that wonderful book. Next, we have David L. Washington. Now, where are you, David? Raise your hand, wave, let us see you. Where are you, David? There you are. He is currently a support liaison in the superintendent's office of the Omaha Public Schools. He is a native Omahan. He's married to Jackie. He has a 25-year-old son, a 27-year-old daughter, and 2 grandchildren. He taught at he attended Howard Kennedy Elementary School, Lewis and Clark Middle School, Technical High School. He was an athlete. David became a Tech High All-American and one of the top recruits in the country in the sport of wrestling. He attended the universities of Missouri, Columbia, University of Nebraska, Omaha, and Doane College. He received his bachelor's degree in special education and health education and his master's degree in education administration. He is a former teacher and championship wrestling coach at North High School, winning 5 team state championship titles during the 1990s. After 36 years, he still serves in the United States Army Reserves, currently as a full bird colonel, 1 rank below general. Give him a big hand. He completed 5 active duty tours, which included 2 overseas after 9/11. David has received multiple medals, 12 Army achievements, 5 Army accommodations, 2 overseas, and 1 Army Meritorious Service. As an athlete, he has been inducted to 3 Athletic Hall of Fames. Let's hear from David.
Greetings. My name is David Washington, and I'm a local author from Omaha, Nebraska, and I'd like to share with you my novel titled Sundance. It is a Western romance adventure. I am from Omaha, Nebraska. I'm a native of Omaha. I graduated from Tech High School. I attended the universities of Missouri, Columbia, Nebraska, Omaha, and I received my master's in education administration from Doane College. And currently I'm an administrator with the Omaha Public School system. I've been part of the system as a teacher and an administrator for 33 years now. My novel Sundance, as I said, is a Western romance adventure. It takes place during the year 1880, and there was a lot going on during that time. The title itself, Sundance, it comes from my character received his name from his mother after she once witnessed a magnificent feat that stuck with her as a child, as a young girl growing up on the Great Plains. She once witnessed an Indian tribe or Native American tribe performing a magnificent dance. It was a dance for world renewal, a tribute to the sun, a dance for life. And it was titled The Sundance. And so they wore these magnificent costumes, feathers, and paint. It was just a magnificent sight to see. And she was so amazed by it that she, as a tribute to that dance, she named her son Sundance. My character is on his way to Mexico. That is his ultimate plan. He had heard so much about Mexico, how the nights were just beautiful and how the stars were so amazing, and there was so much to do there, from many people that had been to Mexico before. So as he traveled his way to Mexico, he decided to stop over at this small border town before actually crossing over the next day, a town called Fresh Whiskey. And in that town, fate kind of steps in and he meets a young woman that turns out to be his love interest by the name of Ayera. Ayera is a name that comes from African definition, which means the chosen one. So these two, again, as I say, fate steps in and destiny steps in and they become twined together. And there's so much that takes place between the two of them, and his whole plan is just totally derailed. So the novel is full of action, excitement, adventure, romance. And as I said, you will really love it. It has a very unexpected ending. I must warn you, I would call it a cliffhanger. And it really makes the book very, very interesting, the way the novel ends. So the novel is on all the bookstores. It's on Barnes & Noble online. It's on Amazon. It's on Google Play. It is on eBooks. So it's out there. You can find it. Again, it's titled Sundance by David Lee Washington. It's a 5-star novel online, and I've got nothing but the best reviews of the novel. So please take the opportunity to go online and experience the book for yourself. Don't take my word for it. You have to experience it yourself. There's something for everyone. There's something for those Western fans. There's something for those romance fans. There's something for those people that just like excitement and adventure. You know, there's some Old West shoot up in the novel. There's some stagecoach robberies and just everything you can think of about the Old West that keeps you intrigued in the book. Again, it's titled Sundance, a Western romance adventure by David Lee Washington. Enjoy.
Wow. You know, David, I'm going to have to introduce you to Beverly Jenkins. Have you heard of her? She's a romance author, and I'm going to introduce you to her. We've had her here for my book club, and I think she would like to meet you. I know I can't wait to read your book. What a pleasure it's been to hear from local authors, and the reading opportunities have, it's just been phenomenal. We need to take a short break to soak up more powerful music from Minister Ananias Montague. Now, as you listen, you will understand why he has had the opportunity to share the stage with Richard Smallwood, Ricky Dillard, Kim McFarland, Lyle Lovett, and many others. He's toured Europe, spreading the gospel through song. One more time, please enjoy the music of Minister Ananias Montague.
He keeps on doing great things for me. Oh, he keeps on doing great things for me. For he keeps on doing great things for me. He keeps on doing great things for me. Yeah, he keeps on doing great things for me. He keeps on doing great things for me. He keeps on doing great things for me. Oh, he keeps on doing great things for me. For he knows me better, so much better than anyone that I know. And the Lord takes good care of me than I could ever do for myself. Yes, he keeps on doing great things for me. Said he keeps right on doing great things for me. Can you sing that he keeps on doing great things for me? Yeah. Oh, the Lord, he keeps on doing great things for me. Yeah. But he knows me better, so much better than anyone that I know. And the Lord, he takes good care of me better than I can do for myself. Hey, he keeps right on, right on, right on, right on, right on, right on. He keeps right on doing great things for me. He keeps, said he keeps right on. He keeps right on. Yes, he really does. He keeps right on. He keeps right on. He keeps right on. Yes, it does. For he keeps on doing great things for me.
I like that song. That was one of my mother's favorite songs. It was first recorded by a Tessie Hill, and I have that CD. And I was thinking about my mom while Minister Montague was singing. Our next author is Daquisha Whitaker, and she is an Omaha native. She's a graduate from Creighton University. She has a master's in education curriculum and instruction, and it's from the University of Nebraska at Kearney. She spent almost 10 years in the social service field, helping children of all ages in the foster care system. And she wants all children to be successful, and she's tried to obtain adequate resources so they can be successful. She decided, though, to branch out and fulfill her long passion of writing children's books and educating others. Daquisha currently spends time as an author, an entrepreneur, as a storyteller. And as a storyteller, she writes children's books that help parents, educators, and caregivers teach children functional and social skills through creative and educational stories. When she's not writing, she owns and operates a publishing agency, Water Rocks Publishing, which helps aspiring authors publish their stories and market and brand them with intention. Daquisha is married to Pastor Brandon Whitaker, and they have two smart, handsome boys, Brandon Deuce and Alicia Whitaker, who she has blessed the privilege of homeschooling. She is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated and spends her time volunteering and serving in local organizations around the city. Let's hear it for Daquisha Whitaker.
Hi, my name is D.M. Whitaker, and I'm an avid storyteller, children's book author, and publisher of Water Rocks Publishing. I write children's books that help parents, educators, and caregivers teach children daily functional skills and social skills to help them to be their best in their homes, their classrooms, and their communities. My newest books that I've written are functional daily skill books that help children conquer fear, but also reminds them of how smart, strong, and brave they are. The books are called The Potty Monster, Boys and Girls Potty Training with Courage. And I wrote these books because whether they're leaving diapers and starting to use their small portable potty, or they're at the end of their potty training stage where they're learning to use that big boy and big girl potty, whether it's at home, at school, or in the community, there's always a little bit of fear that children have. And so I wanted to write a book that helped them to conquer their fears, remind them of how courageous and strong and smart and brave they are, and just to have fun and embrace the journey. I would love to share my favorite part from the book. It is at the end, and it affirms the child that even if you try, you're doing amazing. It says, maybe I will pee, maybe I will poop, maybe I will try, and nothing will pass through. But I will be back, because that is what brave, smart, and strong big girls and boys do. I think it's so important that on the potty training journey that we're constantly affirming the children and supporting them with verbal praise as well as with physical praise. So these books come with a potty chart that helps you to put stickers on there and remind them that they do a good job by giving them a sticker for peeing, pooping, trying, wash their hands. All these great things that helps them on the journey to keep encouraging them. And then I also have some bathroom instruction cards, which are so important because it teaches sequence, but it also teaches children about, good bathroom hygiene and gives them those really good reminders as they're pottying to make sure that they go to the potty, they wipe, they flush, and they wash their hands. There even is some bigger ones that can go next to the potty and next to the sink, so they can constantly remember them. And we have to preserve our toilet paper. So this one goes in the bathroom and it tells them how much toilet paper to pull. So it's really fun and it's really cute for kids. And then once they have conquered potty training, we have to have a party to celebrate them and their amazingness. And so we have our diploma that we sign for them, take pictures with them with, and say, great job, you did so awesome. And I think it's important because it encourages them and it reminds them that when I try my best, I can do amazing things and I can be celebrated, and all children want to be celebrated and affirmed. So I hope that parents and children all over the world, as they read this book, they are inspired and encouraged to conquer their fears and be courageous on their potty training journey. But I also want them to know that they are brave, smart, and strong, and they can do anything as long as they try, with the affirmations that are in this book. Thank you so much, and I look forward to sharing more of my stories with you.
Wow. Tell you, while I'm listening to so many of the authors, I'm doing some personal networking. I know people, Ms. Whitaker, who are looking for a publishing company right here in Omaha. They don't want to have to go out of town or try to search other things. So you will definitely get some referrals from me. This has been such a great place to network. I love your books. As I said, Miss Freeman and me, you can just see us just ready. If it weren't for us being retired, Miss Freeman and me would probably go back in the classroom just to put your books out. All of you have just inspired so much. Well, Our next author is Paul Bryant, my old neighbor. Hey, Paul. Paul is the Vice President of External Affairs for the H.J. Russell and Company. It is the largest African American owned business in the state of Georgia and the 14th largest Black business in America. Let's give Paul a hand. That is an accomplishment. He plays a significant public role and he helps to elevate and extend the Russell brand into communities that they work, build, and invest. Paul's no stranger to leadership. He previously served as the CEO for 3 nonprofit agencies, the United Minority Contractors Association, the Urban League of Nebraska, the United Methodist Community Centers Incorporated. His corporate career includes senior vice president post with Gallup Organization, officer positions with Wells Fargo, and the First National Bank of Omaha. Paul earned 2 master's degrees from the University of Nebraska at Omaha. He attended Creighton University School of Law. He has lectured at Morehouse College, Creighton University, Metropolitan Community College, and the University of Nebraska at Omaha. He is a Pulitzer Prize nominated author of 3 books, and his leadership influence extends to more than 500,000 students. And this is through an international network of 1,500 schools. Paul is the recipient of numerous awards. The 2017 Mentor of the Year, 100 Black Men of America and of Atlanta, Georgia. The city's Omaha's Martin Luther King Living the Dream Award, the University of Nebraska's Alumnus Achievement Award, the Teacher of the Year Award for Creighton University's Upward Bound program. He was Facilitator of the Year by Inroads Incorporated. He was a Black Achiever by the YMCA. Paul and his wife Robin have been married for over 30 years, and they have 3 children. He is an unapologetic believer in God and says his most cherished accomplishment was having his family recognized as the Community Service Family of the Year by the Heartland Family Service. Take it away, Paul.
Hello, my name is Paul Bryant, and I'm the author of The Purpose Living Leader, a book that I wrote in 2008 that was nominated for a Pulitzer Prize. What is it about? The way I term it, it's a inspirational, motivational, autobiographical exploration into the joys and pitfalls of purpose and destiny. It's where I tell my story, kind of an urban Huckleberry Finn, how I navigated the tough streets of the ghetto to one day reach corporate boardrooms. Within this book, I talk about the dichotomy in society between purpose-driven leadership and profit-driven leadership. Where one leads for a reason. They want to help humanity reach higher heights. They're looking out for the betterment of mankind, as opposed to the profit-driven leaders who only want to make a buck. They're doing what they do for personal gratification. The meat of my book is this equation that I developed. VP plus CP raised to the power of F times H equals IQ. And what does that stand for? Vision and purpose plus courage and perseverance raised to the power of faith times hope equals IQ, which stands for influence that inspires integrity. And all of the great leaders have I3. The Gandhis, the Kings, the Mandelas, the Christs, they help us raise our visions of who and what we can be. So again, I'm Paul Bryant, and I've written this book really to help leaders find their course. You go through this and you'll take it's like taking a journey through your life experiences. and somewhere along the way, you'll find a crossroads, that intersection of success and significance. And you'll have to make a decision. And that decision could put you on the road to your destiny that will eventually create your legacy. I'm Paul Bryant, author of The Purpose Living Leader.
Thank you, Paul. Give him a big hand, that's fine. Paul was a guest at my book club and he signed my book. It's amongst the many that I have. And he was such a great guest author. And now that I see so many of you, when we do host our book club in person, I'm going to be calling all of you and I tell you to be worthwhile because I serve some good food. Anyway, thank you, Paul. Next, we have Tasha Sarver. Where are you, Tasha? Raise your hand so we can see you. She is a registered dietitian and certified diabetes specialist with 15 years of experience. She is an author. She's a wife and a mom. Her professional background is in diabetes. She also is an adult weight management, heart health, and diabetes medical technologist. I love this. She says, the non-diet approach to healthy eating is her nutrition philosophy, because I really do think diet is a 4-letter word. Come on, Tasha, show us what you have, and I can't wait. And you can show me how this non-diet thing works, because I would love to talk to you. All right, Tasha, where are you? Let's go.
Hello, I'm Tasha Sarver, registered dietitian, diabetes specialist, and author of Food Fit, a non-diet approach to healthy eating and weight loss. When I became a dietitian, I was passionate about helping people prevent or treat chronic disease with healthy eating. Now, I've helped a lot of clients over the years, but I'm still surprised that when people find out I'm a dietitian, one of the first things they always ask me is, how do I lose weight? Or what is the best diet to follow? This question comes from family members, it comes from friends, and it comes from strangers as well too. There are so many mixed messages concerning nutrition and weight loss. You can scroll through social media and find that just about everyone believes they're an expert on how to lose weight. The truth is, a lot of those people are promoting a fad diet. Fad diets do not lead to long-term weight loss. Once you stop the diet, you stop losing the weight, and some people even regain weight. This can lead to what we call a cycle of yo-yo dieting. I wrote Food Fit to share my personal journey with weight loss and keeping it off for over 10 years. I focus on behavior changes that can lead to long-term success. I teach basic nutrition tips and share how to overcome those obstacles. A mini journal is included with each tip to allow you just to discover your challenges and even document your areas of success. So if you are struggling with eating healthy, or you're tired of those restrictive diets that tell you you cannot eat any of your favorite foods, eat this, but don't eat that, well, then it's time for you to start your own Food Fit journey. So go to foodfitnutrition.com for more information.
Wow. Give her a big hand because I love that non-diet approach. Let us say amen to that. Next, we have Barbara Jean Freeman. Barbara is passionate about writing positive books for children. And believe me, they are, because I bought several for my family members and children that I touch in their lives as they go on. I believe in giving books for gifts, by the way. Barbara writes books that educate and enhance moral and personal values. Her books also build confidence, raise self-esteem, as well as entertain. Her first 2 books received a 5-star review from the reader's favorite. Let's give Barbara a hand. That's wonderful, especially being from Omaha, Nebraska, where people just don't know about our untapped talent. Barbara earned Bachelor of Science degree in education with a minor in library science, a master's degree in guidance and counseling from the University of Nebraska at Omaha. Mrs. Freeman is retired, but has an extensive career in the Omaha Public Schools as a teacher and counselor. She also was Creighton University's Upward Bound counselor for 30 years. Barbara's community involvement includes the Salem Baptist Church Prayer Partners, the Good News Prison Bible Study Weekly Test Grader, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Nebraska Humane Society supporter, Omaha Pen Women, the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators, and the National League of Pen Women. She's a volunteer reader for the Omaha Public Schools, a volunteer reader for the Nebraska Humane Society, and a program called Camp Kindness. Let's hear it from Barbara.
Hi, I'm Barbara Freeman, a children's author, and I brought some of my books here to share today. I'd like to concentrate on my new book, which is called Black History. It's my first nonfiction book. But prior to Black History, I had the opportunity to write about my dog, Sugar. And that was the first book I wrote. I was so passionate about my dog, and I had become retired. So I found the time to write. Actually, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. I came to Omaha, Nebraska in order to attend college at the University, Nebraska at Omaha, where I earned a Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education. Later, I went back and earned a master's degree in guidance and counseling. I taught second grade. I was a junior high school counselor. I was a counselor at the individualized study centers. And also, my last job as a counselor, I was at Omaha North for almost 29 years. I've been retired now, and this gives me the opportunity to write. And I'm very pleased with having some time to do some of the things I like to do. And I write positive books for children. And my latest book, Black History, is for all children. It's dedicated to 3rd through 6th graders, and there are 12 biographies. And the biographies are about very familiar historians, brave, adventurous, creative historians. Some of them children have already learned about, like Harriet Tubman, Madam C.J. Walker, Frederick Douglass, and of course, our former president, President Obama. But there are 3 people in here who are not too familiar. And one of the people that I want to familiarize young people with is Mary Ellen Pleasant. And Mary Ellen Pleasant had a very different personality. In fact, a lot of the things about Mary Ellen Pleasant could be true and could not be true as far as her birthplace, because she told 2 or 3 different stories, and she was a very good storyteller. But the one thing that was really outstanding about her, she was in the stock market in the 1800s, and she listened and observed while she cooked and served people some very interesting tips about the market. Well, later she became a millionaire, and a lot of the money that she earned, she actually donated to helping people who had been freed from slavery, the Underground Railroad. She helped them to find jobs and helped there to be money for them to survive as they went along the Underground Railroad with Harriet Tubman. All of these books can be purchased on Amazon or Laredo Publishing Company. And I have a website, www.barbarafreemanbooks.com. And these two books can also be purchased at all Barnes and Noble stores. And after a while, these two will be able to purchase at the Barnes and Noble stores also. But right now, you can purchase them on Amazon.com. Thank you.
Oh, wow. You know, I tell you, I just love Barbara's books and the illustrations. And I have, as I said, have purchased several copies from her, giving them to friends and family and what have you. In fact, Barbara, it's funny, I'm going to have to get that Black History book because my cousin, who I send the book to in Texas, wanted to know, when is that lady going to write another book? So now I've got to buy some of your copies, so I will do that. In fact, I'm going to go broke buying all of your copies on this piano. I'm going to have to take out a loan. Maybe my good friend, Terry Jackson Miller will float me a loan, or maybe Dr. Gooch will float me a loan. Anyway, I am having a great time. Our next author is Dr. LaTonya Jackson. Where are you, Dr. Jackson? She is the co-founder of Identified, and she spells it EYEDENTIFIED Consulting Services. She is passionate. She's a goal-oriented human resource professional with extensive experience in talent and workforce development through leadership, along with change management, instruction strategy, and facilitation. Dr. Jackson is highly skilled in collaborative partnerships, individuals, and group coaching with people and development. She holds an EDD in workforce development and an MED in higher education leadership from the University of Arkansas, and a BS in business administration from the University of Nebraska. LaTonya holds CCL assessment and Better Conversations Everyday certification. She is an MBTI certified practitioner and a John Maxwell team certified coach, speaker, and trainer. Wow, I'm excited to hear what she has to say. So let's hear from our author, Dr. LaTonya Jackson.
Hi, I'm Dr. LaTonya Jackson, an author of No Deadbeat Jobs, 7 Reasons Why It's Time to Start Thinking About a Career Change. This book is going to help you walk through a process that answers the question of who you want to be when you grow up and what is it that you want to do. I began the book with a brief introduction about that exact statement and this journey. Every chapter begins with a quote. So let's begin. Chapter 1. There's no greater gift you can give and receive than to honor your calling. It's why you were born and how you truly become alive. Oprah Winfrey. Chapter 1 is all about you knowing who you are and making a decision, a concerted effort to be able to understand your why, to repurpose your purpose, and to decide. Now, I love acronyms. So in chapter 1, I give an acronym. Discover your brilliance, encourage yourself, commit to change, invite truth in, determine your way forward, and evict the BS. Decide. BS is bogus stories, by the way. In chapter 2, we begin with Maya Angelou's quote saying, success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. See the theme here? So do you like yourself? Do you like what you do? And do you like how you do it? Chapter 2 is all about you knowing what it is you like to do, and of course, establishing a foundation that you like yourself. We offer some resources and tips on how to do that and how to approach that as you move forward in the journey. Chapter 3. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. Harriet Tubman. Chapter 3 is all about how you get information to help you move forward in your journey and conduct informational interviews in that process. Chapter 4. Instead of looking at the past, I put myself ahead 20 years and try to look at what I need to do now in order to get there then. Diana Ross. Look ahead 20 years. Think about that. So this is all about, chapter 4 is all about determining what's next for you and putting yourself, visioning yourself in that next right step so that you can actually begin to take action toward achieving that goal. Chapter 5, Madam C.J. Walker says, I got my start by giving myself a start. This is all about you making a choice to invest in yourself. Chapter 6, one important key to success is self-confidence. An important key to self-confidence is preparation. Arthur Ashe. You must be prepared for whatever it is you're going to do next. And part of that preparation in a corporate environment or any work environment is having a network and having that network built before you actually need it. Chapter 7, if I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies for me and eaten alive. Audre Lorde. This is all about you knowing who you are and knowing what brand you want to represent out in the marketplace. So market yourself accordingly. And then there's a bonus chapter that begins with this quote. The progress of the world will call for the best that all of us have to give. Mary McLeod Bethune. This bonus chapter is all about how you make a transition, leveraging the skills and resources that you have, because everything you need is already within you, to be able to move forward into entrepreneurship or any other endeavor you choose. I hope that you found this helpful, and I look forward to hearing more from you in your journey.
Wow, that's wonderful. I love the quote that you began with, and that was Dr. Jackson about your calling. And as I was looking at all the members and visitors, especially you authors, this is your calling, to get the information out, to speak from your heart, and hopefully, if we could just reach one person, and hopefully that the knowledge from your books and things will pass on to others. As I said, I can't wait to start purchasing some of these books. Now we will have a question and answer time. Please send your questions to me and indicate who you want the answer to your question. Right now, to all authors, here's one question to start out until we could see who is sending what. But many people say they want to write a book, but they experience difficulty finding time or even to get started. How did you make your dream of writing become a reality? Who would like to answer that question? Okay, Mr. Washington.
Okay, thank you. That is a question that many people have posed to me many different times, because my work is a novel and it took a lot of time to write, but it took me about a year to write my first novel. And it took time. Anytime I could find time, anywhere I could find time, I find myself up at late at night when everyone's asleep. I'm sitting up writing. I found myself writing on an airplane when I'm traveling with the military. So just anywhere and anytime that I could do it. And it's just a matter of determination. You have to decide, you put it in your mind that you're gonna get this done, and you just stick to it. Whenever you find, especially your first book or novel, it's a process. You're learning the process, you're learning how to write. But my biggest piece of advice is to just stick with it and to continue to work on it anytime, anywhere you have the time. I think the hardest part of becoming an author or writer is to find time to sit your behind down in that seat.
I don't see any questions coming in. What recommendations do you have for those who want to write but have, as you said, getting started? I know I'm writing a book and it's called What to Say When. I get calls and somebody will say, Karen, I was at a board meeting and somebody said this. And I'll say, well, what you should have said was, and blah, blah, blah. And people say, Karen, you need to write these things down. So I've been working on this for about, well, I won't tell you, Barbara, y'all know, Terry, you know how long I've been working on this, but I'll get calls from all over the country or just even my friends, Karen, so-and-so said such and such. Well, what you should have said was, or tell them to look up and what have you. So I think now you've inspired me, David, to get going and get off my duff and get this going. And now that I know there's a local publisher here, it shouldn't be that difficult. I don't seem to have any questions here. So another one, among tonight's authors, we have those who have self-published and have had their own publishing companies or established a publishing company to get their books on the market. Tell us about your experience and what you recommend to writers who do not know how they will get their literature published.
Dr. Johns?
Yeah, this Karen, honey, not doctor.
Okay.
Go ahead. You're unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Now we can.
Okay, good. I wanted to address finding the time. And I wanted to talk about the time. It just takes tenacity. My poetry, I've written over 20 years, really. And going back over those 20 years and just being consistent over those three, what happened in a different time, and then going back and layering that portrait, say, okay, this is how I felt, but what did the word of God say about it? And how should I be feeling? So being tenacious about that. So it was a 20-year journey to answer your question there. A work transition, a layoff, a restructure of a corporation freed my time up. So I actually a couple of days after the work transition, got a call from the publisher who I paid 20 years before. Ms. Smith, are you now ready to timing? Because I had worked on it all that time and never made the decision to focus on me and what God had given me. But God had opened the door, and so that came to fruition. I would also want to give you a feedback you asked about. I know we have a publisher online from Omaha, and I so enjoyed the porch. But for folks that are also interested in a new SAS tool, I'll put it in the chat. It's a voice to text. People that are having a hard time getting started writing, there is a new SAS tool by a brother here in Atlanta, Georgia, that has been recognized by rolling out. And he has a tool online that you speak, as we're speaking now, it begins to write for you. It gets you started. Sometimes it's easier to talk it through. So I'll put it in chat. That's a recommendation I have for getting started. And certainly we can always go back and work with a homegirl to fully publish, but it works, and it's a SAS tool. I'll share it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just got a text that says that Betty Cartwright and Michelle Wright have won in the drawing to receive a book. Betty and Michelle, watch for an email notice. Wow, that's nice to get a win a drawing. Okay, how many of you suffer from writer's block?
I don't.
Ms. Wagner, would you like to tell us about your writer's block?
Yeah, it kind of all ties together. I have a notebook and I write stuff down that I hear. So in the backpacks with feet, when I was at this school, the students spoke in over 26 different languages at the school, lots of students from other countries. And so just saying hello, I just learned to listen. So when you have writer's block, if you'll just be present and go someplace and sit, or someplace to talk to yourself and listen, and just make notes of what you hear. I'm so inspired by what I heard tonight that it made me write more things of the second book I'm writing on anyway. And so it's just the creativity, being around other creatives, reading books, things that are interest to you. Just words are so important to me. The more words you hear, it kind of sparks those words within yourself.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes, sometimes I get to the point where what I write, I'm not happy with it. So a lot of times when I'm not happy with it, what I do is I listen to music that puts me into the mood that I want to write about. I think that whatever you're writing about, like I talk to kids every day. So a lot of my information that I put in my books are about things that I learned from the kids that I deal with, my friends, family, my experiences and things like that. I suggest that if you have writer's block, just to keep writing, just write about whatever comes to mind, whatever comes to mind. And then a lot of times, whatever comes to mind, a lot of it doesn't make sense, but maybe 5% of it makes sense. And I can take that 5% and I can work with that and I can expand from that 5%, but at least it's something. So that's what I suggest. Just don't stop writing, just keep writing and just go back over it the next day after you have fresh eyes and look back at it. And then you will probably, most likely you'll have something to work with.
The books that you plan to write in the future, and how do you determine the themes or directions in your writing? Who would like to talk about maybe an idea or something that they have that they might write in the future? Ms. Whitaker?
For my clients, I like to tell them, before you sit down and write a book, think about your target audience. Like, who are you writing to? Because later on, you're going to have to market your book and sell your book to these people, and you need to know, what are their pain points? What makes them happy? What excites them? What are some things that trouble them? And by understanding that, then it allows you to be able to write the book that you want to write and gives you ideas for that. For my books, my target audience are parents and caregivers, and I know that they may struggle with teaching their kids independent skills or just how to be good children in this world. And so I produce social skills books. And because I know that, I know where to find my buyers. I know where to find the people who are going to read my book. So I always tell people, identify your target audience first, and then start thinking about what are their pain points, what makes them excited, what makes them happy, and write stories for them.
How many of you have a book in the future, or maybe a theme or something that you are working on or something like that? Barbara?
I have two. I always come up with lots of ideas. My brother suggested, and he just passed in March, but he made me promise that I would come up with a book for young men or boys with low self-esteem, because I have a book called Mirror, Mirror for young girls with low self-esteem, or was caught up into commercialism, thinking that you have to be blonde with blue eyes in order to feel pretty or confident about yourself. And my young girl, Tina Thomas, in that book, she had to learn about her own history, and people told her some things about herself that she was not aware of. And this helped to build her confidence. But I did promise my brother I would work on one for a young boy. And I have my own idea about another nonfiction book. Remember the broom man that sold brooms here in Nebraska? I want to do a historical book about the broom man. So I've got all these ideas, but I try to market what I have first, and then I get to the next one.
Well,
so I'm trying to market Black history a little bit and then move to the next one.
Good. Brandi, you had your hand up.
I was going to say, I know I'm just getting my foot in the door. Mute your mic. No, I'm just getting my foot in the door, but working with 8th graders in a middle school, I have come to find that my topics really kind of rely on them for topics. You know, some of the experiences that they have in school inspire me to write, things that they're going through. During the pandemic, I had a girl and she was constantly cutting herself, and it was like, why are you doing this? And to her, it was like, she was like, all I want to do is scream. And it's the only way I know how to get it out is by cutting. And it makes me feel better. It makes the pressure go away. And so it made me start thinking, well, maybe our girls need to understand that, we all have days like that. And so I feel like my ideas that come from my students. So my next book, it is called Who Needs a Fairy Godmother Anyway? And it is based off of the story of Cinderella, but it's not. It's more like the hip hop Black girl version. And she doesn't need a prince. He's not on her list. She's going to school. She doesn't need a fairy godmother. It would be nice to have a fairy godmother, but we all know in the real world, that does not necessarily happen. Somebody doesn't come along and save you, and then you have to save yourself. So.
Well, thank you, Brandi. I've gotten orders from Dr. Gooch and Ms. Vasquez that I've got to tie it up. Don't forget to, those of you who are watching.
Orders, not orders.
Directives.
Suggestions.
Okay. Anyway, don't forget to fill out the online survey. I want to thank you, the authors, Dr. Gooch, Ms. Velasquez, all of you, and to this community who's dedicated for taking the time to learn about our authors. I know I've learned so much and I'm all revved up to get a lot of things going. The next time that anybody wants a gift or you want to your own reading material or just don't have anything to do, remember these fine authors. Now, don't forget to fill out the evaluation online and remember that Metropolitan Community College offers educational programming year-round. The focus is women's history, which is next, and it's in the beginning of March. The national theme is women providing healing, promoting health. Now, let's enjoy one final performance from Minister Montague.
It's a great hymn of the church. For there's not a friend like the lowly Jesus. No, not one. No, not one. For none can heal all our soul diseases. For no, not one. No, not one. For Jesus knows all about our struggles, and He will guide till the day is done. For there's not a friend like the lowly Jesus. No, not one. No, not one. He was with us, with my ancestors during the time of the civil rights struggle. He was their guide, he was their protector. And I firmly believe that that is why they all stood together united and sang, "We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. For deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday, because Jesus knows all about our struggles, and he will guide till the day is done. For there's not a friend like the lowly Jesus. No, not one. No, not one.